Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 13 of the SANE Show, the show about nothing and everything with your host, Cliff, with special guest, corporate trainer, motivational speaker, and poet, UNCG alumni, class of 2016. I wish y'all could see his face. We got Chris over here with us. I'm
Whoa,
so happy to have him join us. How you
man.
doing, man?
Look, man, you made me sound so good. You made me sound so good, Cliff. I appreciate you, brother. How are you?
I, I'm good. I had to work on that. I'm feeling a whole lot better now after that little Cash App scare. Sent some money to the wrong person, but was able to.
Look, you bless somebody's life, okay?
I was able to cancel that payment, so I had to cancel that blessing too. So make sure I get it to the right person. Oh man. But yeah, thank you for coming on the SANE Show, joining us to have another exciting conversation. I'm excited to dive into it and talk about what we got to talk about today. So what we're going to talk about, just to get to it, we're going to talk about motivation, grinding. Of course, there's always a trending topic. I think you guys are going to like this one. And of course, after that, we're going to have some questions for Chris, just so you guys can learn a little bit about what he does. And I think that's pretty cool too. And I think actually it's just the perfect time, just thinking about where I've been in my life. And so yeah, it's just funny how things work out. So let's go ahead and talk about motivation. You're a motivational speaker, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I just think it's an interesting time talking about motivation, because in doing some of the things that I do, I lost my motivation, but I reshifted my mindset, and I'm thinking about how I was able to pretty much get myself back on track, and it feels good. It took me to think about how I got to where I was in 2018 and all the hard work it took me, watching a little bit of Eric Thomas, some Inky Johnson, listening to some Ray Lewis, some Brian
Let's
Dawkins.
go. Let's go.
And so yeah, and it's just funny how things work and how things happen. And so I think motivation is big.
Yes,
and
sir.
and sometimes I just think about people that are, I guess, that aren't as motivated, but that still seek out those great things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I think about motivation, like again, it's very important, because like that takes you a long way. And especially like self motivation, not having to rely on other people, but being able to find some way to motivate yourself, whether it be through your music or through some kind of, I guess, daily practice that you have, prayer, meditation, anything, working out, all that kind of stuff, just like motivation, or even just setting a goal and having something you want to go after, and just like, I guess like setting little tasks for yourself to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. So being a motivational speaker, what's your take on motivation in itself?
So, motivation in and of itself, in my opinion, it starts with self. So, it has to come from within you. Someone can't make you be motivated to the point where if you don't have them, you can still be motivated. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like you have to find that in yourself. Somebody can put a spark and light that fire, but you have to keep it going. You have to keep the motivation there. So, like for me, I didn't always want to be a motivational speaker, but it was something that I found to be my passion. Does that make sense? So I had to ask myself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like so I had to ask myself that question.
Yeah.
My senior year in college, as a matter of fact, what would I do every day for the rest of my life for free? And the answer I had was speaking, because that's something
Okay.
that I enjoy, something that I have talented at, something I'm skilled at, but it's also something that I could do and serve people
Right.
and have a purpose,
Right.
right? So so for me, that's where motivation comes from. It comes from within me. Granted, I listen to other people too. I listen to Eric Thomas, I listen to Inky, I listen to all those folks too. But at the same time, I have to have a fire within me. So
Right.
when I'm absent of those influences, where can I draw motivation from?
Right.
So that's my take on it.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny. You reminded me when you said fire, and I just remember I told a few people in college, like, I was talking about, it's like everybody has that flame in them. For everyone, it's a different size, and for me, it's like figuring out ways to ignite that flame. And I remember I went to somebody, I thought about it, and I just said, for me, just throw some gasoline and some propane on the flame. And I remember I asked somebody, it's like, what do you do to like make a flame grow larger? And they're talking about like lighter fluid or whatever. I'm like, no, throw that real dangerous stuff, because I think about when you have a flame, and because like, not only in being motivated does it help you get stuff done, but people can read that when you are motivated. And I thought about it when we talk about the flame, being able to walking into a room and people being able to see this aura about you, and people just know, like, okay, this guy, I don't know anything about this guy that just walked into this room, but I know that there's something about him.
They can feel it.
Exactly.
Like, they can feel that coming from you.
Exactly. So you want people like, and that's always been my thing. I want to be the guy that walk into the room and people can feel that about me. And so that's what I tell people. Like, you want to walk into the room and like people feel that energy, because people feed off of that energy as well. Exactly. And being able to, and that's how you take and motivate others. So, gosh, yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's always been my thing. Like, yo, throw some. Nah, I don't want that. I don't want that cheap stuff. Throw some gasoline on me. Watch that thing go kaboom.
Yes, sir.
Like, so yeah, because like you just gotta keep going, and I totally understand that. Because it gets tough at times. And, even when I think about like people that come up in different situations, like me, I didn't have the perfect situation, but at the same time, I didn't have the worst situation, but I was highly motivated.
That's right.
Because when I look back at it, I'm glad I didn't grow up with the perfect life, because that allowed me to have the motivation to go out and want to show that I can make it out of certain circumstances and still not be a statistic. So I think that's very big, because people joke about it as far as like as far as like athletes, especially in the black community, like people growing up with single mothers or being without their fathers and being highly successful. And like, I do agree that there is some correlation, but so yeah, it's like if you really look at that stuff, like, yeah, it's something to that.
I think it kind of boils down to how you handle adversity and handle struggle. Know? Because everyone has a story. Everyone has like a shadow. Everyone has a shadow, right? But what it boils down to is how well you don't handle adversity, handle struggle when they come, because they're going to come. And regardless of where you came from or what kind of background you had, you're going to have to face some challenges at some point. You're going to have to face an enemy that's going to be stronger than you. Like, so what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to face that obstacle? How are you going to overcome it? So like, that's what kind of prepares you for the situations to come ahead. If you had to deal with struggle in your younger years, then you know how to face it when you are introduced to it in older years.
Right. Yeah. And because it's like what I think it was a video I was listening to this morning. Eric Thomas was like, some of y'all never felt pain before.
That's right. You're soft.
I'm like, yeah. Some of us never felt pain, and because that sometimes is what ignites it. And so I'm like, yeah, that's true. Some of us never felt pain, and so some of us never had something to give us enough pain to make us go out and say, I'm going to overcome. Because I hate I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's like, I know they say on the other side of pain is what is it? I don't want to say, is it success?
Yes. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, you overcome that. Yeah, I mean, it's great, and it's just a great feeling. And to me, it's a great feeling being a person that is highly motivated, and people can feed off of my energy, because at the end of the day, like, I want to be that kind of person that people can, because I like to say, you lean on me, I lean on you too. So because it's not it's not just me. I look at other people and it's like, I want to help. So I can look at that person as well and be like, hey, they can help me too, because it's like you can learn from anybody.
That's right.
So
And like for me, it's not just me being that person that
yeah,
someone can listen to and feel something from,
yeah,
but it's you feeding off my source.
yeah,
If that makes sense.
right,
Like I'm not the source. I'm a resource.
yeah,
But I'm not the source. Because my source comes from a place where I can't physically touch it.
yeah,
That comes from my faith is my source.
right,
Right. But and I don't want to get too overly religious, but at the same time, you have to have a source that is bigger than you.
right,
Like we can't depend on something the same size as us to deal with enemies that we can't fight.
right,
You see what I'm saying? So
right,
that's why, like, for me, I'm a resource for people to listen to get that same energy from. But what I need is something bigger than me, so I can
yeah,
stay full.
yeah,
Because I can't keep pouring out of my cup
right,
and expecting my cup to remain full
right,
if I don't have a source that's bigger than me.
yeah,
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah, totally understood. Totally understood, man. So that was good. That actually went by pretty fast as far as that segment. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get to the trending topic: fast food restaurants targeting millennials.
Uh-oh.
So before
Uh-oh.
before the recording, we Chris and I watched this video of on What's Trending. And again, all these topics brought to you by What's Trending. Go follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I believe they have a website too.
Quick
What's
plug.
Trending. 13 episodes in, they never let me down. So we were watching this video about on What's Trending about millennials being targeted by fast food chains, and the video primarily focused around McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, and the different strategies that they're using to try and get millennials into their restaurants. McDonald's first, what is it, Rise and Rave,
Rise and rave.
and then Burger King with the Whopper Detour. Where
Man.
check this one out.
Disrespectful is what this is.
Download the Burger King app, and then go to the nearest McDonald's. You pull up through the drive-through, and you ask for a Whopper. And then you go get because the whole thing of it is you get a one-cent Whopper, but the catch is you go to McDonald's, order the Whopper, and then you go to Burger King and pick up your Whopper. And of course, I'm sure people are thinking that's a waste of gas, unnecessary trip. It's just flat out silly.
But it is trending. So if you got somebody with you to record that, okay, it's a quick way to get a couple thousand retweets. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. On top of that, not only is it trending, but it's shady. It's savage.
But it's almost as savage. Not quite, but almost as savage.
Okay, and we gotta not mention. We cannot forget to mention the last. And you say the best for last, Wendy's.
Man, the most savage on Twitter.
Yes, the hostess with the mostest, with the tweets and all the clapbacks and whatnot. And they got so many tweets on here. I was really trying to go on here and find find some of those tweets where they where they had some of those replies. I just remember there's one tweet where Wendy's got a tweet from McDonald's or something, and they clap back at McDonald's talking about your ice cream machine. it's always broke. So Wendy's when it comes to being able to attract millennials and ultimate savagery, Wendy's is where it is, and that's of the three. That's my favorite restaurant. So
Where's your favorite restaurant?
Of the fast food chains, Chick-fil-A is number one.
Okay,
Wendy's
okay.
is number two, and then the rest they
Fall where they may.
Yeah. So, but you and I prior to the recording, we were talking about the the shift in marketing being focused on millennials, and like I told you, I spoke to one of my mentors who's a baby boomer, and he's a business counselor, and one of the things he said to me, he's like, well, you guys are growing, your buying power is increasing, so a lot of these brands are focusing on you guys. And like I mentioned with Spotify, I was doing my research on podcasts, one of the things Spotify is looking for in all of their content, whether it be podcasts and music, is they're looking for things that caters to millennials,
That's
which
right.
only makes sense. Our buying power is increasing. We're getting older. We're getting more mature, and I mean, pretty much like we're adulting.
That's
And
right.
we're the new customer base that all these companies are looking to, continue to maximize their revenue on.
It's a fight for attention.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to, in my opinion. Like these different trends and restaurant chains, these innovations that they're having, they're just fighting for attention. Because what that does is, if I got your eye,
Right.
if I have your focus, then I can influence.
Right.
So if just like we know we're talking about savagery,
Right.
it's Wendy's.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the disrespect, that's
Yeah.
Burger King.
Yeah.
So it's coming because they're getting our attention. If they get our attention, our dollar follows.
Right. Right. And I mean, they're all going about the right way, getting on social media, because that's where we all are. It's just like with what I was telling you with the ad campaign that I launched for the SANE Show, the first one at that, 96% of the impressions were on Instagram. And then the other 4% was on Facebook. So that says a lot. And because at the same time, when you look at the different social media platforms, it was like social media, it was like in the beginnings, like you just have MySpace.
Right.
But as you can say that social media pretty much underwent an evolution.
Yes,
because it was MySpace, and then now we had Facebook, and then Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and they all serve a different purpose. But you can kind of see within all the different platforms where their roots trace back to.
That's right.
So I think that's the really unique thing about it. And now that we have all these different platforms, it's like they all serve a different purpose and they all cater to a different market. One of the things I'm seeing is that a lot of baby boomers, we're Generation Y, so Generation X, they're getting on Facebook. There's a lot of them on Facebook, and then a lot of boomers are slowly adapting to Facebook as well. So it's like you see that, and a lot of us millennials and Generation Z, not Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat.
Yes, sir.
And then you got I think Twitter of all the platforms is a nice little mix. So you got everybody on there, tweeting, from the president being a boomer, and
Somebody should take that laptop. I'm just saying, that's some of those tweets.
and the Generation Xers and the Ys, and I don't think Generation Z uses Twitter as much as they use Snapchat and Instagram. But
yeah, I probably agree to that.
yeah. So yeah, but that was our trending topic. Again, brought to you by What's Trending. Go follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Now that I think about it, they probably have a Snapchat, and they got a website too. A lot of great topics. So definitely go check them out if you want to learn a little bit more about the trending topic about fast food restaurants targeting millennials. So we're going to go into our next topic, which is kind of pretty much an offshoot of the previous topic, grinding. So, get your hustle on. And I'm honestly, like, I didn't put much thought in this one. But I'm thinking about, because when I thought about motivation, I'm thinking about grinding. And so I guess when I think about grinding, I'm thinking about, doing whatever you got to do to make it, and also, being dedicated to it.
That's right.
I think, go ahead.
I was just gonna to not so much echo what you were saying, but to also add to it that, in my opinion, grinding consists of like three things. So, and you hit one of them is commitment. So commitment or consistency. But the other two things are sacrifice and reason. And reason can be defined as why as well. So people usually define reason as what's your why?
Yeah.
What's your reason?
Oh, man, that's the age-old question right there.
Exactly.
What's your why?
So, like, when people tell me, like, they're grinding. So, those are three things that pop in my head. Like, are you grinding? Really, are you doing something? And are you being consistent with it? What are you sacrificing? And why are you doing it? So, that's, like, grinding in and of itself is, you could be grinding like a hamster on a wheel is grinding, right? Like they're grinding too. Like they're running, they're staying in the same place.
Yeah.
So when someone says they're grinding, I'm asking myself, all right, and asking them too, why you doing it? Like, what's your reason behind why you say you're grinding? Like, what's your reason? Are you doing it because you're actually at work? Because if you're actually at work, why are you posting? What I'm saying. But are you saying it because it's trendy too? Because you're gonna get somebody's attention saying that I'm grinding. Like, okay,
Yeah.
good for you. You know what I'm saying? But then, what are you sacrificing? Because everyone who grinds sacrifice something.
Right.
They're sacrificing their time, sacrificing energy. Some people sacrifice money. Some people sacrifice family time. Some people sacrifice fun. Some people sacrifice their youth to grind.
Right.
So when you say you're grinding, I'm thinking, are you really though? Because the same person says they're grinding, the same person is partying too.
Yeah.
The same person says they're grinding, the same person that's always on social media. Like, you can't be grinding always on social media unless you're somebody who's using it as like your source of income.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when people say they're grinding, sometimes I hear you, but I don't believe you.
Right.
Unless you can hit those three things.
Yeah. You made me think about a lot right there, because I come across a lot of people that say they're grinding. Especially, with some people, they look at what I'm doing and they I guess I don't even know. But when we talk about grinding, yeah, I mean, I do agree, and I definitely think you got a point, because when it just makes me think about when people approach me for help, or whatever advice, or wanting me to like help walk them through whatever process. It's like, are you willing to do some of those things? If not, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take my time. I'm going to make myself available as a resource, but I'm not going to extend myself to help you do that if I don't see that you're willing to put in the effort. So, yeah, you kind of stumped me on this one, man. I normally got something to say, but I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, but again, I do agree. And I mean, all that, what you said, when I think about what I do, in the sacrifices I make, like, yeah, and still making sacrifices, and still having to look at, what I want to do and what I have to give up, especially like, comfort.
That's right.
I tell people, you have to find comfort in discomfort. Someone taught me that a long time ago. And once you're able to do that, then yeah. Because I mean, I worked in sales. So having done that, I have to get used to being uncomfortable. Because it's like, you have success one month, doesn't matter next month.
That's right.
Because you can go and have enough bad months, and that's it. And they can find anybody. So there's no safe place. And I'm glad, because I got into sales one time, and then I got burnt out and quit, and then I got back in, and one of the things I learned is I learned to appreciate it. It helped me grow as a person, and it helped me grow as a professional, because that whole thing of like being uncomfortable and accepting learning how to find comfort in discomfort helped me go a long way, especially pursuing things outside of the day-to-day.
Yes, sir. It shows you your own resilience, how resilient you can be in trying times like that. But it also shows you that your process will not necessarily be the way you think it's going to be. Like, there's something that's going to happen that you may not expect. But if you have conditioned yourself to be able to be consistent, and to be able to sacrifice when need be, and to never forget why you're doing it, you can make it.
Yeah.
You can make it.
True. And I mean, when we talk about the why, I mean, it definitely does tie back to motivation. I mean, because motivation feeds into grinding, and having that motivation. I think about my why, and it's like, yeah, like I want to live this life. I want to take care of my mom. I want to take care of my sisters, and my grandparents and all that kind of good stuff. That's my why. And so, when I'm out here grinding, that's all I think about. Like, I spoke to my sister earlier today, and it's like, I just want the best for you, and I want to do everything I can to be a part of that, and do what I can to make sure that, you know, she and everyone else in my family has the best. So, you know, and even thinking about, you know, having kids, like, yeah, I want them to be in a better position than I was in when when I was growing up. And because, you know, I think about it like this: I don't want my kids to have to work as hard. If like it's like almost like if they want to, yes, like be successful, yes, and be the best at what you do, yes, but to have to work as hard to be where I want to be, like that's not something I don't, you know, I don't want to put on them. You know, at least be able to put them in a position where they don't have to worry about doing that and just do whatever they want to do and be the best at it. You know, and still yet grind.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because I think like it's one of the guys on Shark Tank. He was talking about, yeah, I'm a multi-millionaire, but that doesn't mean my kids are rich.
That's right.
I still teach them the value of a dollar and teach them how to work hard, which I think a lot of kids that grow up privileged miss out on, and then they don't learn how to really grind and get some of those same things for themselves. Because I'm pretty sure, like you if some people, I'm not gonna say everybody, but some people grow up having that stuff. I'm pretty sure they go when they get older and they start having to do for themselves, they want those same things.
That's right.
So why not teach them how to go out and get the same thing for themselves? So
I completely agree with you, and I like your why, man. I like that. You never told me what your why was before. I really appreciate
I never told anybody what my why is. I probably told some people, but it was like behind closed doors. But I mean, honestly, that's my why. Like I do what I do for my family, and that's it. And you know, at the same time too, like I want to be able to do things to help out other people. That's a large part of the reason I have this platform. That's why I love having this platform. It's not just for me. I love to talk. Yes, I love to tell stories, but I love to give other people the opportunity to be able to come on, share whatever story they have, be a part of the conversation, and get something out of it for themselves.
Man, that's an example of climbing the ladder and reaching your hand down, helping somebody else come up. I dig that.
It's so funny. It's like somebody told me, you know, I have a lot of mentors, a lot of people that help me out along the way. And one of the things they told me is like, hey, you don't have to pay me back, but when it comes your turn to help somebody else out, you do that.
Look, my dad had a term for that. He called paying it forward.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Pay it forward. Give somebody else the opportunity. Like
right.
When you get one, give one.
Right. And for me, like I always think big picture, having a lot of money and, you know, having all the resources in the world to be able to help somebody else. But at the end of the day, for me, it's also a thing of, okay, looking at what I have now. What can I do with what I have now to be of assistance to the next person? Because maybe even though the SANE Show is still in the early stages, it's going somewhere.
Yes, sir.
And people are listening. I told you, you know, listeners, and you know what? I got let me stop it right here. Let me shout out everybody in the U.S. listening, the fans in Iowa, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Michigan, Ohio, Connecticut, Ontario, Canada, Belgium, United Kingdom. Shout out to all you guys listening. I see you. I appreciate you, and thank you for listening. So yeah, obvious signs of growth for the SANE Show. So yeah, like, and so me, that's my thing. I want to be able to share this platform with other people. That's it, and that's my way of giving. Because people are not only listening to me, they're listening to other people, and hopefully when people come on this, they get some kind of recognition, and people start looking at, okay, let me start, you know, checking this guy out, check this girl out, see what they're doing, because they were on the SANE Show and they sound like they're a pretty cool person. So, you know. That's
what's up, man. That's what's up right there, man. You sure you're not a motivational speaker, brother?
No.
I want to make sure.
No.
Okay, all right.
I that's not something I ruled out. But I just want to wait. I just want to wait. So, yeah, wow. I just forgot where we are. Well, we were talking about grinding.
We were talking about grinding, but you know, the natural progression just went to something else. It's okay though. It's fine.
That's cool. And I mean, it's the SANE Show, the show about nothing and everything. So, I mean, it happens, and that's what I like about this show. Like we can have I have topics lined up, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, really, we're just having a conversation about it, and that's what I like about it. So who knows where it can go. I always tell people that when they ask me, well, what's it about? Well, we talk about this, and that, but who knows where it can go.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. So I say there's something for everybody. So I want to go ahead and get to asking you a few questions. You kind of surprised me there, and I kind of wish I knew before the recording, but it's all good. I'm not mad because I'm all for surprises during a recording. It just makes it better. So you said you I guess it wasn't in the plan to be a motivational speaker.
That's right.
How the heck did that even come about?
Man, so let me tell you the natural progression of what I wanted to do for a career. So I started out wanting to be a archaeologist. Like,
okay.
I wanted to do fossils and dinosaurs, all of
that.
That
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that. But then, as I got older, I wanted to be in law enforcement. Following my dad's example, because he was in law enforcement for 31 years. So that was over the entirety of my childhood. He was going out every day, serving people. So I wanted to follow in those footsteps because that's my role model, right? So, but I realized going into college that that's not really what I want to do. I don't want to be in law enforcement. So what can I do that kind of follows in that footstep, but not exactly? I learned that he has a degree in psychology and criminology. So I flipped it. So he might majored in criminology or criminal justice or minored in psychology. I majored in psychology and minored in sociology. So I said, if I can't be in law enforcement, at least I can use my ability to connect with people and help them that way as a psychologist. So I studied psychology, and that's what I wanted to do going into undergrad. Well, come senior year of undergrad, I realized that that's really not what I want to do either, because it's time now for me to start applying for jobs and applying for master's programs, and it's still not really, I didn't really feel like I was going in the right direction. So that's when earlier, like I told you earlier about me asking myself that question. That's when I had that real conversation with me and said, well, Chris, what do you want to do? You don't have time to mess around anymore. So then I asked myself that question, what would I do every day for free? And what I put my pen on was speaking. And I made the decision that day to follow it. And that led me to an internship with a leadership development firm, and the rest is history.
Well, it's funny you say that. What would you do for free? It always takes me back to what's something that you would do that no one has to pay you for. Because if you're really good at it, no one has to pay you to do it. And here just like this, no one's paying me to do this, but I love to do it. I've done radio before, so here I am. But I'm glad you said that. That's great. I mean, clearly you're passionate about it.
Thank you.
So where do you see yourself going with this?
I see myself being internationally recognized. I see myself being known around the world for helping people, empowering people.
Okay.
Yes, that's my end goal is to be someone who empowers others to see the best in them, to pursue something that they wouldn't have done otherwise if they didn't realize their own potential. So that's where I see myself, being a speaker, traveling the world, doing my thing, sharing my poems, sharing my inspiration with them, sharing my faith. So that's it.
You ought to write a book.
I'm in the process of doing that too. I'm gonna get one of those out too.
I'm not gonna say I'm kind of expecting that. Either you were in the process, or that's something in the works. That's something in the works. That's great. I'll definitely pick that one up and read it. So
thank you.
So because when we talk about, I guess I'm glad it is too. In this episode, it seems to be that motivation is the overarching topic, where usually it's the internet and social media. It might. Well, hold on. Let's see. Because when we talk about the internet and social media, you got a lot of influencers on there. Would you say there's a lot of motivation to be found on there? Because now I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about the people that are on there posting about their successes, and the people that are, posting their successes, sharing it with the world, and everybody looking at it, and people are in awe, and How do you think about that? I guess would you consider social media a good source of motivation compared to, listening to somebody, like going and listening to an Eric Thomas audio, or watching an Eric Thomas YouTube video, or Inky Johnson YouTube video? What are your thoughts on that as far as social media and motivation?
So to answer your question, yes, but sometimes. So yes, I think social media is and can be a platform where people can find motivation, but I think that it is situational because it depends on where they look. If you're looking for inspiration to want to be like somebody else or want to have a level of success like somebody else, then yeah, you can find that on social media. But if you're looking for monetary reasons, as in I want to be able to buy this, I want to be able to drive this, I want to be able to go here just like them, live just like them, somebody can get discouraged from that too. Mm-hmm. So you have to check yourself before you start looking, because when you start looking, you can find what you're looking for. But if it's a level of success that you can't see yourself getting, then it'll be discouraging and have the opposite effect.
I can understand that. Mm-hmm. I can understand that because I was going to ask you this too, and I'm thinking about it now, as far as people talk about. I guess it's almost like a debate. People talking about other people posting on social media, and people basically, because you can control what you put out there, and you can show people what you want them to see and hide everything else. So people posting about the money and the cars and all the different success that they have, and then creating what some people may call a false image, because maybe you meet that person in reality and they may be struggling in whatever area. So, and I see both sides. I like to look at both sides of it, because it's almost like when you go and talk to somebody asks you how you doing. Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing real good.
That's the default. Everyone says I'm doing fine. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
but
I'm living.
On the inside they dying. They're
exactly.
hurting on the inside.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So we can go to say like that. It's almost like it's false, yes, but and the reason I say to choose, I look at both sides of it, because I think about how I do as well. Some people come to me and they think that, like, some people think like all I do is run a podcast, but no, I don't. I'm not getting paid for this, but that's just all that they see. And I hope that some people get motivated. Like, I had a friend reach out to me that's looking to start his own podcast. So I'm not going to take all the credit for him wanting to start his own podcast, but I do think I did help out in that process, and being a resource for him to reach out to get some information. But I think it's good to be able to put yourself out there in a positive light, and not be able to show the negatives, for the simple reason that I think it does good to be able to do that, because like I'm not focused on the negatives in my life. Yeah, I have my negatives, I have my struggles, but I'm not going to show that. I want you guys just to see the positive. Because go ahead.
It's something that you said earlier that I really want to spotlight for a second, because you said you control it. You can control what you put out there, and that's the real factor in it, because people who have that level of success that someone else may admire or even idolize, they then have to make the choice of why they're posting it. Are they posting this thing because they want somebody to feel like they can get it, or they want this thing to be braggadocious and say that I got this, I want to show you all what I got. That's the thing that people who are influencers just need to be weary of on social media, because the impact that you can have on somebody can be different from the intent of posting it.
All right, so we got a comment from Paul.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, high school classmate.
What's up, Paul?
Shout out to Paul. He says social media can be a carefully cultivated expression of the life that they want. In a way, it's like someone living two lives at once. if that makes sense.
Completely agree.
I agree. I do agree. And I guess that's where when I talk about looking at it from both sides, that's where I guess that's where I would say like, yeah, because I can see how it can be a negative and a positive, and that's where you got to be careful, because I guess you would almost go to say like it's a blur, it can be a blurred line.
Yes, sir.
Because at the end of the day, you don't know, and you just have to. It's like what people say. You have to take everything with a grain of salt.
That's right.
You know, and then you got to use your best judgment to believe or not believe everything.
Man, I can tell you hang around some old heads, because that's exactly what some of my old folks just tell me.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Because I know, I'll say like with myself, I mean, if you sit down with me one-on-one, yeah, I'll tell you some things. But at the end of the day, it's like, even though I got this going on in my life, I'm not going to let that distract me from the bigger picture, because it doesn't equate to what I'm going after. So, and I that's, it's all a mental thing.
Yes, sir.
It's all mental. So, I mean, yeah. So thanks for the comment, Paul. That was a really great comment. So I like to see that too. People actually engaging with the SANE Show, because we'll read your comments and we'll shout you out too. So anybody else listening, you might want to, if you want to get engaged, definitely shoot us a comment and I'll read it live and we'll talk about it. So Paul's a great guy too. So he's like us. He's thinking on that level.
Yeah, I can tell.
I actually would like to have him on here as well. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, man, that was pretty much that was great, man. And I appreciate you sharing your insight from your experience, and also from what you've seen, doing what you do. So yeah, and thank you for coming on to the SANE Show.
Man, it's an honor and a privilege. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're always welcome. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. So and again, like it's the SANE Show. I'm always up for a great conversation. So I'm always wanting to have people on that I know I'm going to have a great conversation with and be able to put out some great content. So I'm hoping people listen to this. I'm not even going to hope. I know people are going to listen to this and get some kind of motivation, whether it be in the United States, Canada, Europe, or or wherever else in the world people are listening to this. So yeah, I guess you got any social media?
Yeah, man.
You want people to check you out, follow?
Facebook and Instagram at McCoy Motivations. Yes, sir. Give me follow me. I follow back. I just appreciate all the engagement. And it's always motivation. It's always light. I want to show people and help people see what they have inside of them. So follow me, follow the movement, and we appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to the next time.
Yeah. And as always, y'all know what time it is. Go follow the SANE Show. The SANE Show, SANE _show. You can find us on Instagram and SANE Show _SANE_show Twitter. Man, I'm messing up today. And then you can find us at the SANE Show on Facebook. You can find us on various streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Overcast, Pocket Cast.
Let's go.
And I'm pretty sure.
Keep going. You got some more. Keep going.
There's some other platforms out there that's listed as other. Sorry. Podbean. Woo! Special shout out to Podbean. They help get us on all of the streaming platforms. Love you guys. Been a great deal of help. So yeah, definitely check us out on all those platforms. And until next time, thanks for listening. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and just keep supporting. Again, thank you. Until next time, we're out.
Bless.